I think it's very important that I state here that I'm very privileged to be questioning my lecturer because Dr. Damola was my lecturer in University of Lagos, yes. And I can confirm to anyone who's listening that I never paid for handouts, at least in his own class. But, you know, Doctor, I've listened to your perspective, yes. In terms of, you know, the two other ideas that you have. Yes. And I'm just wondering, do you think that the federal government will listen? One. And then two, do you think that if you entrust your fight into the hands of a pressure group, can they really feel the pain as you do and, you know, mount the pressure as intensely as you would mount it?
Thank you very much. That is why I'm saying that we should sit down to discuss these matters and come up with an idea. Definitely, the government knows the power of the Sultan of Sokoto. They know the power of former heads of state. They know the power of industrial men who have made their marks in this country. They will listen. You see, something worries me, and that is even members of ASUU, when they get to government, we see them behaving contrary. And some of us wonder, and that is why some of us don't want to. I'm not a member of ASUU. I don't want to be a member of the executive. I'm just an ordinary member. I'm happy about that. Because we keep on wondering that even ASUU members will join the government in one way or another, and they will still behave. There is something in government that we do not really understand. And as intellectuals, we should continue to provide means of communicating with these people, because we really don't know what happens there. But all we know is that sometimes president will not sleep for 2 days. They can't be joking. The one that we all know, right in the purview of all of us in Nigeria, is that they started the meeting 2:30 and ended 3:30 in the morning. That was tremendous. And I thought ASUU should have put all the problems on table. Why are we saying now that we should put a clause so that we will not be victimized? We all know that. That ought to have been there. In fact, a newspaper reported that they wanted to put all those clauses they're asking of. But ASUU refused. Okay, why would ASUU refuse?
Well, they refused at that time.
They refused at that time. They refused to finish all the job because they knew they were coming back. They knew, listen to this. Many Nigerians don't realize the fact that apart from the earned allowances, ASUU is well respected by our leaders. Otherwise, you won't allow anybody to shut down the university for almost 6 months. Do you know, nobody has said this, let me say it crystal clear, that apart from the earned allowances, we haven't gained anything more from the 2009 agreement. Nobody has said that. And I'm saying this.
And allowances and the age. What about the age?
The
age for professors.
No, that has been solved.
Yes.
I mean, last year. What I'm saying is that what the federal government did was to just reorganize the structure of 2009 agreement. So the only thing we have gained, nobody has said that, is the earned allowances that, as Professor Femi Otuba just said, have been paid and not fully paid. So federal government they know what they are doing. You know, I'm not talking for them. ASUU has not gained anything apart from this year, apart from the earned allowances.
I'm also looking at a 200 billion naira, which is also coming between the lecturers and the federal government, because they say as soon as they get evidence, the schools will reopen. And you said something about eminent persons, and one of those watching has actually sent a message. Why don't we, when I say we, we're talking about ASUU now, on ASUU's side, why don't you people call off the strike and see how it pans out for a month, if that money has truly been paid or not? Can that also work?
The national neck isn't sincere.
Neck of ASUU?
Neck of ASUU. What nobody is saying now is that ASUU may call off this strike after the burial of a colleague that died. You see, they are dragging this because they want to give, and rightly so, to give our colleague, Professor Festus Iyayi, a befitting burial. But quite unintellectual was the approach of ASUU. As Professor Femi Otuba just said, instead of suspending the strike on November 14, they just dispersed and said the struggle continues. At the strike, they ought to have called a 3 days mourning for this great man. He was indeed a great man. But as Professor Femi said this morning, you won't believe it, this anti-intellectual posture of university teachers, some of us, people have brought ethnic dimension to it. Those from Edo State.
For real?
For real. Those from Edo State said, I mean, we have to go for 1 week. We have to bury this man for 2 weeks. For God's sake. And the last speaker once said that we are Africans and we should bury our dead. We are university teachers. We are polemicism. The university is a place of argument where superior arguments should hold. So, to my mind, and to the mind of our group, we want to move ASUU forward. We want to move ASUU forward to be more pragmatic, to be more intellectual. We are already politicizing this strike. And
Dr. Daramola,
yes.
Professor Otubajo said something, and I want
yes.
you to confirm
yes.
to your mind if it's
yes.
correct, that there are pockets of, a little bit of politics getting into, ASUU. And, I did ask the ASUU president if truly the strike has been politicized, or if political elements have infiltrated, maybe the opposition, have infiltrated the ranks of ASUU. And he said to me that all we need to do, all the federal government needs to do, is document evidence of what is done, meet the remaining 3 conditions that they've attached to that, and then let them see if, truly politics has infiltrated the ranks of ASUU. What do you have to say to that?
ASUU will not call off the strike until Professor Festus Ijayi is buried. Mm-hmm. If you watch the lips of the federal government properly, the word subversion is very strong. The federal government is short of saying that ASUU is being used by some politicians. There is this dichotomy politically between the North and the South. So any right-thinking person may even think that ASUU has been politicized. And is
that what you also think?
That's what I believe, because the word subversion is very strong, lexically. And
do you see that also come into play in University of Lagos?
I mean, already, people, some of my colleagues who are from Edo State, seem to have begun to localize this issue, because Professor Festus is from Edo State, and that's very sad indeed. And that is what some of us want to open a dialogue about, that we should be more intellectual in our approach, and we should not be seen to be politicians of any sort at all.
But looking at the 4 conditions that ASUU has tabled, do you see any wrong in that? Do you see any fault with it? The rest of the 4 conditions, they're saying federal government just meet this, document it, and let it be called off.
To me, it is ridiculous at this hour for ASUU to now ask that the Attorney General of Nigeria should sign. Because it's very sad. Why didn't you say that in 13 hours? Why didn't you see that? Because there are many past presidents, Professor Sule Kano, Professor Dipo Fashina, who are experienced in these matters. I mean, why will ASUU turn back to say that the Attorney General should come?
ASUU said that they had to take the message to their different congresses and then get back to them. That's what they said.
That was a kind of hypocrisy.
That they had to take the message to their members.
That was a kind of hypocrisy. The ASUU Constitution says that after the branches must have held their meetings, you have to collate the results. You won't believe, I was very sad 2 days ago, and you have played that today, when for the first time, the national president, Dr. Nasser Issa Fage, announced formally the result of their meeting that was held about 3 weeks ago in Kano. He said that 48 out of 51 that responded said the strike should be suspended with conditions. Mm-hmm. That was the first time that all ASUU members had that. Don't forget there were speculations in the press that 43 out of 61 said it should be suspended. For the first time, can't you see the oracular posture of these people, of the national executive, thinking that they know it all? That was the first time that this nation is being told that 48 out of 51 said that it should be suspended. They didn't say anything. Our branch leadership didn't tell us at the University of Lagos. It is indeed very sad of the kind of leadership that we have, and some of us don't like that, and we have to speak out for the entire country to know.
Well, Dr. Daramola, Adeyemi Daramola, Senior Lecturer, many thanks for joining us this morning. Well, we will go on a break, but well, our position on this particular matter, hoping that it is resolved, is that well, ASUU should reach out to the CBN to confirm if the money is in the said account. And of course, Dr. Okupe, who said that he's seen that particular evidence, should please also show evidence of payment. So on both sides, they should confirm and also show evidence of payment, as well as ASUU should go back since the government has met other conditions. Well, that's well, the thinking of and position of most Nigerians, as well as the Sunrise Daily team. We hope that the government and ASUU will sort themselves out and reach out to the CBN on this. And Dr. Okupe, we're also waiting to see evidence of this particular payment.